The most mind-blowing coincidences in history. Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy, two United States presidents, are linked by a sequence of highly unusual parallels. These connections extend beyond their political roles, touching on their personal lives, their deaths, and the people around them. Their story is often cited as one of history's most intricate and perplexing sets of coincidences. Both presidents were elected 100 years apart, Lincoln in 1860 and Kennedy in 1960. Both were concerned with civil rights. Both were shot in the head on a Friday. Both assassinations occurred in the presence of their wives. Lincoln was shot at Ford's Theater. Kennedy was shot in a Lincoln car, a Ford product. Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy who advised him not to go to the theater. Kennedy had a secretary named Lincoln who advised him not to go to Dallas.
The assassins also shared eerie similarities. John Wilkes Booth, Lincoln's assassin, was born in 1839. Lee Harvey Oswald, Kennedy's assassin, was born in 1939. Both assassins were known by three names, comprising 15 letters each. Booth shot Lincoln in a theater and fled to a warehouse. Oswald shot Kennedy from a warehouse and was captured in a theater. Both assassins were themselves assassinated before facing trial. Their vice presidents, both named Johnson, further deepen the pattern. Andrew Johnson, Lincoln's successor, was born in 1808. Lyndon B. Johnson, Kennedy's successor, was born in 1908. While these individual facts could be dismissed, their cumulative weight is statistically improbable. Calculating the exact odds is complex, but the sheer number of documented matches suggests a probability far less than 1 in a trillion. These enduring parallels continue to fuel fascination and debate about the nature of chance and fate. The Jim twins represent one of the most compelling cases of separated identical twins exhibiting identical lives. Born in 1940 and adopted by different families as infants, James Lewis and James Springer were unaware of each other's existence until they reunited at age 39. Their lives had unfolded with an astonishing number of parallels. Both Jims married women named Linda. Both later divorced their first wives and married second wives named Betty. Both had sons, one named James Allen, the other James Allen. Both owned dogs named Toy. Both worked in law enforcement, James Lewis as a security guard, James Springer as a deputy sheriff. Both had specific hobbies like woodworking and chain smoking. They even drove the same model of car, a light blue Chevrolet. Upon meeting, they discovered they had both suffered from tension headaches, bit their fingernails, and had built small white benches around trees in their respective yards. Their mannerisms, speech patterns, and even their preferred brands of beer and cigarettes were identical. These similarities went far beyond typical genetic predispositions, baffling researchers who studied them. The probability of such specific life details matching in separated individuals is astronomically low. Psychologists and geneticists at the University of Minnesota, who studied the twins extensively, were presented with powerful evidence for genetic influence extending to personality and behavioral traits. The Jim twins became a landmark case, suggesting that genetics might exert a much broader and more specific influence on individual lives than previously understood. Their story continues to challenge assumptions about environment versus heredity. 14 years before the Titanic disaster, a novel was published that predicted many of its grim details. In 1898, American author Morgan Robertson released Futility, or The Wreck of the Titan. This fictional work described the sinking of an unsinkable ocean liner named the Titan.
Robertson's novel depicted the Titan as the largest ship ever built, nearly identical in size and speed to the real Titanic. Both ships were described as having 3 propellers and a capacity for approximately 3,000 passengers. Both were said to be virtually unsinkable, equipped with too few lifeboats to accommodate all on board. Both sank in the North Atlantic in April after striking an iceberg. The fictional Titan was on its maiden voyage when it struck an iceberg at high speed, resulting in a catastrophic loss of life due to the lifeboat shortage. The real Titanic, considered unsinkable, embarked on its maiden voyage in April 1912. It struck an iceberg at high speed in the North Atlantic, leading to the deaths of over 1,500 people. The similarities extended even to the timing and cause of the disaster. The precise parallels between Robertson's fictional account and the actual Titanic sinking are uncanny. The book's foresight was attributed by some to a prophetic gift, while others cited Robertson's extensive nautical experience. He was a former merchant seaman. He had a deep understanding of naval architecture and sea travel, allowing him to anticipate the catastrophic consequences of a luxury liner being built with inadequate safety measures. Regardless, Futility remains a chilling example of a literary work anticipating a real-world tragedy with remarkable accuracy.
Mark Twain, born Samuel Clemens, entered the world alongside a celestial event and predicted his departure with its return. Halley's Comet, a periodic comet visible from Earth every 75 to 76 years, made its appearance in 1835, the year Twain was born in Florida, Missouri. Twain frequently spoke of his connection to the comet. In 1909, he famously stated, "I came in with Halley's Comet in 1835. It is coming again next year, and I expect to go out with it." He continued, "The Almighty has said, no doubt. Now here are these two unaccountable freaks. They came in together, they must go out together."
His prophecy proved accurate. Halley's Comet returned in 1910. Mark Twain died on April 21, 1910, the day after the comet reached its perihelion, its closest approach to the sun and its brightest visibility. He had lived for 74 years and died within the window of the comet's cycle. Twain's personal prophecy and its fulfillment solidified his legendary status. This precise timing underscored a peculiar alignment between a remarkable literary figure and a rare cosmic phenomenon. The event served as a testament to Twain's wit and his uncanny ability to blend humor with profound observations about life and destiny. It remains one of history's most frequently cited examples of a self-fulfilling prophecy.
In 1883, Edward Bulwer Lytton published The Last Days of Pompeii, a novel recounting the Roman city's destruction by Mount Vesuvius. Less widely known is his earlier work, The Last Days of Pompeii's Cousin, which contained an eerily foreshadowing a real-world catastrophe. This less famous novel included a detailed description of a volcanic eruption on an island in the Dutch East Indies, now Indonesia. The novel specified an eruption that would kill 20,000 people. It provided a specific date, August 27th, for this cataclysmic event. This detail was published years before the actual historical event transpired. The novel presented a fictionalized but highly precise scenario. On August 27, 1883, the Krakatoa volcano, located on an island in the Sunda Strait between Java and Sumatra in the Dutch East Indies, erupted with unprecedented violence. The eruption generated tsunamis that devastated coastal regions. The official death toll from the Krakatoa eruption and its subsequent tsunamis was over 36,000. While Bulwer Lytton's novel had predicted 20,000 deaths, the date and location of the cataclysm were exact matches. The coincidence of the novel's fictional eruption date and location with the actual Krakatoa disaster is astounding. Critics and readers noted the eerie prescience of Bulwer Lytton's writing. Whether it was pure chance, or perhaps an author's research into geological patterns influencing his narrative, the Bulwer Lytton curse, as it became known, remains a remarkable example of literary prediction aligning with historical fact. Why do these coincidences happen? Human perception often seeks patterns and meaning in random events, leading us to highlight unusual occurrences while overlooking the mundane. However, there are also mathematical principles at play that explain why such extraordinary events are not only possible, but inevitable.
The law of large numbers dictates that given enough opportunities, even events with extremely low probabilities are bound to occur. With billions of people experiencing countless events daily, the sheer volume guarantees that outliers and highly improbable matches will manifest somewhere, at some point. Our universe is simply too vast and too dynamic for such things not to happen. We also fall victim to selection bias. When a coincidence occurs, it captures our attention, leading us to assign it significance. Yet we entirely ignore the countless instances where no such patterns emerge. Our brains are wired to identify patterns, a survival mechanism that helps us make sense of the world. This inherent trait can lead us to interpret randomness as design or fate, seeing connections that do not objectively exist. Ultimately, these factors combine to create an environment where astonishing coincidences regularly emerge from the statistical noise. While they may feel mind-blowing, they often represent the natural outcome of probability and human psychology. They are a testament to the vastness of possibilities rather than evidence of hidden forces or destiny. In 1930, a South American pilot experienced an extraordinary and tragic coincidence. Having crashed his plane in a specific field as a child and survived, he went on to become a professional pilot. Years later, on his birthday, he tragically crashed his plane again. The second crash occurred in the exact same field where he had crashed as a child.
Edgar Allan Poe's 1838 novel, The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket, depicted a harrowing tale of shipwrecked sailors resorting to cannibalism. In the story, 4 survivors, adrift in a lifeboat, draw lots to decide who will be sacrificed. The unlucky victim is a cabin boy named Richard Parker. 46 years later, in 1884, the yacht Mignonette sank. 4 survivors were left adrift. When starvation became critical, they killed and ate the cabin boy. His name was Richard Parker. In a grim twist of fate spanning generations, a Polish woman named Helena Kosiara was gassed upon her arrival at Auschwitz in 1943. 73 years later, to the day, her sibling was also gassed at the notorious concentration camp. The exact dates of arrival and death for both siblings at Auschwitz, separated by more than 7 decades, represent a chilling and tragic coincidence.
The attacks of September 11, 2001 led to a surge of numerological analysis, with some individuals finding what they perceived as highly improbable numerical patterns. One such claim involved a specific budget meeting alert. A warning from the Department of Defense about potential catastrophic attacks involving numerical codes or dates was interpreted by some as a hidden prophecy of the 9/11 attacks. These interpretations often involved complex calculations and selective data points. These claims asserted that numerical sequences embedded in government documents or public statements held cryptic messages foreshadowing the terrorist events. For example, some cited dates or sums of numbers from unrelated alerts, twisting them to form connections to 9/11. Such interpretations are usually dismissed by experts as apophenia, the human tendency to see meaningful patterns in random data. While these numerological coincidences captivated certain audiences, they lacked any verifiable predictive power or direct causation. They remain an example of how significant events can prompt a search for hidden meanings.
The COVID-19 pandemic, a global health crisis that began in late 2019, also became the subject of a peculiar coincidence involving dates and predictions. It was noted that the pandemic officially struck the world on what would have been the birthday of Dr. George Brock Chisholm, the first Director General of the World Health Organization. Chisholm, a Canadian physician, was a key figure in the establishment of the WHO in 1948 and its early efforts in global public health. Further adding to the perceived coincidence, some sources circulated claims that specific early death toll predictions for a global pandemic made years prior appeared to align with the scale of COVID-19 fatalities. These predictions often originated from simulations or speculative analyses conducted by various organizations researching pandemic preparedness. For instance, some theoretical models had suggested death tolls in the millions for a severe global respiratory virus outbreak.
While the timing of the pandemic's global impact on Chisholm's birthday is a statistical anomaly, it is purely coincidental. The alignment of death toll predictions with actual COVID-19 numbers is also largely a product of selection bias. Researchers develop a wide range of scenarios, and it is inevitable that some will, by chance, fall close to real-world outcomes. These observations highlight how the human mind seeks patterns and significance, even amidst random occurrences during times of global crisis.